Most scary marriage. Clara is confiding in her friend Derby about her struggles at home with her husband, who constantly yells at her and their daughter, making home life tense and unpleasant. She feels unappreciated and restricted, as her husband refuses to let her work and insists she be a full-time housewife, even though this adds financial and emotional strain. Derby, however, dismisses Clara's concerns, telling her she complains too much and should appreciate her husband for providing and embracing his responsibilities. Derby argues that many men avoid responsibility, and Clara should rest and view her husband as a savior figure. Clara tries to explain that the problem isn't a lack of appreciation, but her husband's controlling behavior and emotional outbursts. She wants to contribute financially to ease the burden, but she is not allowed to. She also reveals that their daughter is afraid of her father due to his temper. Derby continues to defend the husband, suggesting he's just under pressure and that Clara and her daughter might be provoking his behavior. Clara, realizing Derby isn't truly listening or supportive, ends the conversation by saying she'll handle things her own way and doesn't intend to share her plans with Derby. Big Joe, who lost his job 3 months ago, is struggling to provide for his family, but has kept the job loss a secret from his wife. His friends Emeka and Kennedy are discussing the situation with him. Emeka is angry that Joe's wife talks to him disrespectfully, believing she doesn't appreciate Joe's sacrifices. He insists that Joe should not tell her the truth and warns that once she starts earning her own money, she will disrespect and dominate him, even accusing her of potentially cheating if she knows Joe is struggling. Kennedy disagrees, advising Joe to be honest with his wife and allow her to work so they can support each other financially and emotionally. He emphasizes that marriage is a partnership and hiding the truth could hurt the family, especially their daughter. Joe, feeling misunderstood and burdened, sides with Emeka. He believes he should remain the unquestioned head of the house and that his wife should simply trust and obey him without explanation. The conversation ends with Kennedy frustrated, accusing Joe of preferring harmful advice and warning that he won't be able to help financially if Joe refuses to change. Joe arrives home from work and is met by his wife, Clara, in the sitting room. She greets him and casually asks about his day at work. After a brief response from Joe, Clara quickly brings up a more pressing concern: he hasn't responded to her earlier request for money to buy food. Joe defensively replies that he sent her 10,000 naira expecting that to be sufficient. Clara, clearly frustrated, challenges him, asking what she's supposed to do with just 10,000 naira in the current economic climate. She points out how little that amount can buy in the market and insists that it's not nearly enough to feed the family. Joe responds by saying he doesn't have any more money. Clara, suspicious, reminds him that his salary usually comes in by the 25th and it's already the 28th. She questions whether he's actually been paid or if he's hiding something. Frustration escalates as Clara reminds Joe of his promise to fully provide for the family after he pressured her to quit her job. She accuses him of failing in his responsibility and questions whether starving her and their daughter is what he considers providing. Joe, overwhelmed, says he won't do more than himself, to which Clara fires back, demanding he step up and act like the man and provider he claimed to be. She insists it's not too much to ask for food on the table. The argument reaches a peak when Joe, shocked by Clara's tone, asks if she's really raising her voice at him. Clara, now fully enraged, declares that she will raise her voice and even bring down the house if he continues neglecting his responsibilities. She refuses to back down. Joe, feeling cornered, tells her that if 10,000 naira isn't enough, she should stop cooking altogether. He tries to walk away, but Clara stands in his way. When he becomes aggressive, Clara physically defends herself, leaving Joe shocked at her boldness and unwillingness to be intimidated. Joe was driving home after a long, exhausting day when suddenly, his car sputtered and came to a halt by the side of the road. He sighed deeply, feeling the weight of everything hit him at once. Frustrated and drained, he stepped out of the car and leaned against the door, staring into the distance. As he stood there, a wave of sadness washed over him. His mind drifted back to everything he had endured at work, the endless pressure, the disrespect from his superiors, and the constant struggle to meet expectations that only seemed to grow heavier by the day. He had worked tirelessly, giving all of his energy, yet it still felt like he was getting nowhere. Joe wiped sweat from his brow, the heat and stress clinging to him like a second skin. He thought about the promises he had made to his family, the sacrifices, and how little appreciation he felt in return. The car breaking down felt like just one more thing added to an already unbearable load. He sighed again, looking up at the sky as if searching for answers. For a moment, he felt completely alone, trapped in a cycle of effort, exhaustion, and disappointment. All he wanted was a break, a moment to breathe, and maybe, just maybe, someone to understand what he was going through. Inspirational message. Sometimes, the scariest part of a relationship isn't physical violence, it's silence, control, and the fear of not being heard. Every person deserves respect, freedom, and the chance to grow. A true marriage is built on mutual support, not power and fear. If you're struggling in silence, know this: your voice matters. Your feelings are valid, and you have the right to choose peace over pain. Speak up. Seek help. Protect your light, especially when others try to dim it.